And we'll see if anybody
Slack.
is here. Looks like no one's joined in just yet. Okay, people are coming in. Hello, friends, and welcome back to Empty Cloud. We have our special guest on Thursdays, Ayya Khemavamsi, to give a Dhamma talk today and talk about entering Vassa, so the rains retreat period. My name is Ayya Vadda, and I'm going to be just helping ask questions to Ayya Khemavamsi and get the conversation going. And if you have any questions during the stream, please feel free to leave them in the chat section and during the talk, and then at the end we'll go through and start to try to answer some of your questions. So don't hesitate to ask whenever you'd like if you have any curiosities coming up. So hello Jayanta, Cristina, Aldo, Karuna, welcome. And so Ayya Khemavamsi, if you could maybe tell us a little bit about what Vassa is and how does it work, what does it mean, why do we do it? Just a little bit of an explanation on Vassa.
For the Wasa, right? Oh, thank you very much, Ayya Wata. For the Wasa, it's the rain retreat. It's the annual thing that we, the Buddhist monastic, have to do like during the rain period, rain season, for 3 months. That we have to stay in one residence for the whole 3 months. Yes, and it's. I think most of you have heard about this before. The Vassa that, like in the back then when the Buddha was still alive and people still, the monastic have to like wander and then to walk like with no pause, the no rest period or something like that. And when the rain comes and the monastic still walk, maybe they walk over the crops and maybe kill the animals, small animals. So the Buddha said he allowed us to stay in one period during the rain season. So yes, it's the thing that is the tradition that we keep, from that time until now today. And for the Vassas, normally start from the July or August, right, in the 8th month, Asanha, after the Asanha day, Asanha Pusha. For empty cloud, maybe like a month ago, right? But here in Thailand, we have like, I'm not really sure about it, but we have like the leap month, right? We have the 8th month, like this is like the second 8th month. So we start the Vassa in August. So actually we just finished the Vastu Panayika, like the ceremony that we entered the Vassa yesterday in our monastery. So I think it's the good opportunity to be able to talk about entering the Vassa because in Thailand we just started yesterday.
Good, great. Thank you for that introduction, Ayya. And so you are, your monastery is a branch of Nirodharam.
Yes.
And which is a great monastery, and we hope maybe to visit sometime. And so in Thailand, you were saying that you have an extra leap month during the lunar calendar. There's a leap month at a different time. Could you tell us about, in ancient India, they had the rainy season. In Thailand, is there also a rainy season during the Vassa, or is the weather, how is the weather during Thailand compared to the original context of the Vassa?
Actually, it's the rainy season now. It is still now, yes. But, like the weather change, maybe like the global warming. Actually, like the weather forecast, they said like last month start the rain season. Not just like last month, maybe like 15 days ago, something like that. I don't really remember. Maybe 15 days ago they said, okay, this is the rainy season. But it didn't, rain that much, but it just rained, maybe a couple days ago. So it is this period is still in the rainy season, Thailand as well.
And so how does that affect the Vassa time period? How is monastery life different, and how does entering this rainy season and setting a 3-month stable period, how does it affect your life at the monastery? Are there any differences in the schedule or the lay people, events, things like that?
You mean during the Wasa, right?
Yes, during the Vassa.
So sorry. So during the Wasa, the activity, the lifestyle, and like the focus of the people in the monastery change, but we tend to focus more on the practice and the study, pariyatti.
Okay.
Normally in the Wasa, what people do is for the monastic, right, is to study more, because like in the we still keep like the tradition. Like in the past, they cannot go anywhere else. We have to stay in one residence, right? So what's for us to do? So we have to study, and then gather in the group and then study together. Maybe like the senior bhikkhu or bhikkhuni teach the newly ordained about Vinaya, about the Sutta study, and about Abhidhamma as well. So during this period, we tend to consider it as a study time, and it's a time to practice more, more than like the whole year. But it doesn't mean that the whole year we don't practice, but more like stricter, and then practice more and then study more. And one thing, especially in Thailand, we have the Dhamma study. I don't know in the US you have that or not, but in Thailand we have like the course, just like during this time, people have to study. And in December, maybe November and December, they have the test. It's like for the whole nation, for people who want to study the Dhamma. You can study the Dhamma and then take the test in November and December. So Prajanandayani like kind of, force us, people in Dharam to everyone have to pass this test. They have like three level, like the first we have this three, right? It's called Dhamma study. But what is interesting is that for the monks, the bhikkhu, they call naktham, like very, very hard. If you pass all three levels, you like kind of high, like you can give like the teaching like perfectly or something like that, because you have the writing test and the all the knowledge in the sutta study, the abhidhamma and the vinaya. But for dhamma study, suksa is sikha, right? The dhamma study for lay people. So for bhikkhuni and for samaneri, like for female monastic, we cannot take the bhikkhu exam. Take like the lay people exam.
Okay.
And if it's like the compulsory course, if you pass the first exam, then you can apply for the Pali test. So if we want to like take the Pali exam, and study more on the Pali, then we have to study the Dhamma study and pass the exam. So during this time, it's kind of unique, for Thai people for Thai monastic to come together and then teach. Like for me, I have the responsibility to teach the samaneri here as well. Otherwise, they cannot apply for the Pali test. Something
Great.
like that.
Very interesting. Thank you. And so you talked a little bit about making determinations to study and practice during the Vassa, train one another, and then the Dhamma exam, so training for the Dhamma exam. For the lay exam that the bhikkhunis and samaneris don't have access to in Thailand, what kind of difference does that make in terms of the material that you study and learn versus the Bhikkhu Dhamma exam? What kinds of Dhamma study material is different between these two?
They study the same thing, Sutta, Abhidhamma, and Vinaya. But for the bhikkhu, they like Vinaya. But for the lay people and for the bhikkhuni, just like the sila, the precepts, the Kammabodh, Kammapatha, something like that. Just for the lay people to be able to adapt this kind of material into their daily life. So it's beneficial for us as the monastic as well, that we know like, okay, we study like the life of the Buddha, we study the Dhamma, like the essential one that we need to know, and we study the precepts. So of course we can study the Bhikkhuni Vinaya as well, but for the Dhamma study, for like monastic, then we can use this kind of material to give the Dhamma talk to the lay people.
Yes. Great.
And also the one thing that they have like the writing exam.
Okay.
So when you can do the writing exam, then you can use this kind of thing to use in giving the Dhamma talk as well.
Good. So it's applicable for the monastic life as well. It's good.
Yes.
Yeah, here at Empty Cloud, during the Vassa, we've been doing Vinaya study as well. We don't have an official exam in the US because Buddhism is a minority religion, but we've been doing Vinaya study and looking into the different rules by topic. And that's one of the things in the Ajahn Chah tradition, that very often during the Vassa, there's a specific Vinaya study. Not so much sutta study specifically. Usually that's more individual or as a community, people who are interested. But the Vinaya study is something that we do look at in detail. So in your monastery and in Nirodhanam monasteries, do they also set aside time for studying the Vinaya apart from the Dhamma exams and the official exams, or how is the Vinaya studied during the Vassa period?
Normally, like in the past, Prajanandayani, like have the schedule. During the Vassa, you have to study Vinaya. Vinaya and then Dhamma study. So all the bhikkhuni and everyone come together and study Vinaya, and then we have another time, like lot for like the newly ordained to study Dhamma study. But during this period, because we just finished the Vinaya session with the bhikkhu, the monks came and then gave us the Vinaya lesson, and we just finished. So during this time, we just focus on the Abhidhamma, and then the Dhamma study and also the practice.
Okay. And the Vinaya study and group study in the monastery during the Vassa, does it tend to be structured, or do you more have, according to the needs of the community and the monastic teacher, it's more spontaneous, or Prajan and Dhyani already had a kind of structure and interpretation of way of study of the Vinaya that you'd use during the Vassa period, or Abhidhamma, any kinds of study?
In the past, we have, we have to study from the first one, Parashika, okay,
Yes.
start from the first one, and then we cannot finish.
First rule down, yes.
Yeah, and we didn't finish, I remember that we finished the Vinaya. We just like Pachitiya or something like that. And so every year, okay, Parashika, and then just make not even halfway, and just start again and try to do more and more. But we just finished the Vinaya session maybe like a while ago, maybe not a year but months, like many months ago, something like that. So after that, Prajan said, okay, we cannot finish, in time for the Vassa. So she said like maybe we can study sometime, like in your own time, and maybe if there's something that like if the question arises, something like that, then you can ask and then study as a group, because we cannot follow like in order. There's a lot of questions, when study in a big group.
Lots of rules.
Lots of
Yeah,
rules.
and just so to clarify for those who aren't as familiar with this term, so Vinaya is the monastic rules, the conduct and the rules that monastics in Buddhism follow. So for lay people, there's the 5 precepts, maybe the 8 precepts, and monastics have a longer list of precepts. For novices, it's usually 10, and then for bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, there's a larger list of several hundred that are studied. So Ayya Khemavamsi was just describing going from the first rule down the list in this long list of rules. Great. And so then as far as your Dhamma practice, apart from study, one of the things that is common in the Ajahn Chah monasteries and in some other lineages for practice during the Vassa is people will set aside, they'll make determinations, like an adhitthana, right? An intention to maybe follow a specific Dhutanga practice or do a certain amount of meditation or maybe do some kind of work on some kind of particular theme, like a type of meditation practice. Is it common for the monastics to have practice adhitthanas or any kind of specific practices that they take on during the Vassa, or is this more of an individual basis? How does this work in your monastery?
It's common here as well. For adhitthana, like the determination, right? But it's for the time that Prajanandayani was still alive, she just like encouraged people to, okay, what you want to try or to, like focus on in this particular period of time, you can choose on your own because people are different, right? And maybe from the, I don't know, the preference. And maybe they want to try something else. So Prajanandayani, like, okay, I recommend the Nirodha. I don't know about the Nirodha.
Cessation?
Something like that. I recommend this subject of meditation. I recommend this one, anapanasati, something like that. But if you want to try something else, you can do, and then you can, for your own determination. But here in Mahavana, in the branch, we just like talk, and then you can practice, individually, and then you can make up your mind. For example, me, I'm gonna concentrate more on the satipatthana. Something.
Great.
So more on the study, but still practice within this period as well.
And then what about lay people? So during the Vassa, some monasteries, they'll have a little bit more of a retreat time. So in the West, because we don't have a rainy season, there are no monsoons usually in most Western countries. So it's actually summertime. It's the most active time when there's very easy to travel. And so what often happens is Western monasteries have a winter retreat where they do lots of study and meditation during the winter. And then they do the Vassa, but the Vassa is very busy. And there's lots of people coming, and sometimes monks will still do engagement programs and do less retreat practice. In Thailand, do you usually have lots of lay people coming during the Vassa? Is the monastery very active, or is it more closed off? How do you tend to relate to the engagement with the lay community and other visitors?
I think during the Vassa, I don't know about other monastery, but for the Nirodharam, during the Vassa is the period that people, like come. Is more active, I think, because people know that the monks, bhikkhu, bhikkhuni, they are there. They're in the temple. Yes, they're in the temple, so they can come whenever they want. So I think it's more active, and we have more activity. So like in Nirodharam, we have the Dhamma on Sunday. It's just like for Christian, right? That every Sunday they go to church. So we have like, the Sunday program that they can come and then meditate and then listen to Dhamma for like a whole day, or maybe just like during the morning session or through the afternoon session, something like that. So we have we become more active and like have more activities during the Vassa because people tend to come. And also about the retreat, we usually open for the retreat. Like if you want to, sorry, like if you want to come to a retreat, then you can come anywhere as well, anytime.
Meditation retreat?
Yes, meditation retreat.
Okay.
So we don't have like the retreat program here for the monastery, for our monastery. We don't have like, okay, you can come for 7 days. We don't have like that. But if you want to come, if you have like the holiday, like 5-day holiday, just that we just had, then we can arrange it for you.
Oh, okay. So
Like that.
you have lay residents then coming during the Vassa as well that stay at the monastery according to whenever they're available. Great. Amazing.
In Thailand, people tend to come to stay in the temple more in the Vassa. Like, okay, tomorrow is the I don't know what's it called, but in Thailand we call Wan Pra, like the monk day, the day
the
that
Uposatha.
the full moon. Yeah. So okay, tomorrow is, what do you call it?
Uposatha usually.
Oh, Uposatha, yeah. And I have to go and then stay, in the monastery and then do the good thing for the whole day or something like that.
Great. So maybe before we close, and if anyone has any more questions to ask Ayya Khemavamsi, maybe you could describe briefly, talking about lay people coming in the Uposatha during the Vassa. How would you recommend lay people relate to the Vassa period? How do you think they could spend their time while the monastics are doing their practice of stability and study and meditation? Is there anything that you'd recommend lay people focus on? And do you think it's worth lay people setting aside time to have a little bit of a period where they can more stable in their practice or set determinations or visit the monastery? How do you recommend that they relate to this monastic practice of the Vassa?
For the monastic during this period is like the important period for us to train ourselves more, right? And you can, like for the lay people, you can relate and you can make use of this kind of concept as well. That okay, while the monastic train themselves like harder, they study more, they practice more, and then you can use this time to like come and practice with us. Like what I always tell the lay people, that you can practice on your own at home, it's okay. But if because this time we practice more, then you can come and then practice with us as well. It's a good opportunity to be able to practice together. But if you cannot come and practice together, you can just stay at home, and then you can have this kind of concept that okay, during these 3 months I'm going to train myself on this, like for Thai people, they have like the campaign, like for the government have the campaign like no alcohol during Vassa.
Okay.
Yeah, no alcohol during Vassa. And because it's easier for you to have like the certain period of time, like okay, I'm gonna keep the 5 precept for 3 months. I'm gonna stop drinking for 3 months. And if you can accomplish the goal that you have set, then it means like, oh, it's actually, the health is better. Or maybe when I don't drink and then I can, like it's beneficial, and then you can, extend the period. So it's good during this Vassa that for the monastic to train themselves, to cleanse themselves, and for the lay people to use this kind of concept to, train themselves as well. Then we can, train together.
Sadhu, great. Yes, that's very beautiful. What you say about establishing this relationship where the monastics focus on deepening their study and their practice, and we can have that mutual relationship where the lay people come and practice together with the community to have the fourfold sangha, practicing and benefiting from that deeper time of intentionality together. And if not, that the lay people are inspired by that and set specific goals to try to imitate, oh, okay, maybe I can follow more precepts or study specific meditation things during this period. Great. Okay, so maybe we could turn to questions, unless there's anything else you had wanted to say about the Vassa.
One thing that I think is different because I tend to hear that maybe somewhere else have like a lot of retreat during the Vassa, right? But in Thailand during the Vassa is like the busy period of time, like for the whole year. That okay, study and then practice, and then a lot of lay people come. So it's good for us to practice as well that we have kanti or not. Can you like arrange the time because a lot of things going on. So it's good to practice that. You have to practice for the whole year, like nine months, right? Yes. And for these 3 months that you have to work so hard and just have to practice as well.
Good. So it's a period of intensive work and intensive practice.
Yes.
Cool. Great. Thank you very much again, Ayya. And we'll turn to questions. So if anybody has any questions, please leave them in the chat and we'll look. And it looks like we had Karuna, we had Kit, Chitapala, Sud, John, Jimmy, Trika, lots of people joining in. Bhikkhuni Sumedha, I think it is. Hello, Venerable. And Sud has a question. He asks, during the Vassa, do you focus on one meditation subject or is it left to the individual to try out several subjects?
As I mentioned that, for individual to try for themselves. Like for me, Satipatthana, right? For other people, maybe Anapanasati or something that they haven't, tried yet. Or maybe, as you mentioned about the Tutanka, some people, like, I remember some people in Nirodharam said, like, okay, I'm gonna, like, I don't know, what's it called? Like, she said that she was gonna, stay up all day during the Uposatha, something like
Stay
that.
up all night meditating?
Yes. Without like sleeping, she just like try to sitting meditation and then walking meditation throughout the whole night or something like that. So it's up to them.
Yes. Yeah, that's my experience as well, that usually here and in many monasteries in the West, it's very individual. It's up to the people. And sometimes maybe a group will decide together, oh, maybe we should all practice this way. Or maybe we'll stay up for the Uposatha like I was describing, but it's left to each monastic to decide. Okay. And Yenala asks, do Buddhist monastics count their Vassas? What is the significance of the Vassa count? Is it that one is gaining some form of seniority with each one?
We count the Vassa. Significance of the Vassa is just like the how long that you've ordained, something like that. But the word Vassa, I think is still like debating. Like the word Vassa is like the rain season, right? But for some people that they just ordained before the Vassa, maybe like 2 days ago, and then you can count like, okay, I have one Vassa, something like that. But actually, like here in Thailand, I don't know for other places, but for here in Thailand, like for someone who, like people tend to, like for some people, they ordain before the Vassa, so they can count the Vassa, right? Okay, now I have one Vassa. But we're gonna ask like 1 Vassa or 1 year, something like that. Okay, maybe 1 Vassa, but 3 months, something like that. So I don't know about it, but we count the Vassa. Yeah. And what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, that's how we do it as well. Usually, is counting every time one Vassa period is spent as a bhikkhu or bhikkhuni. It counts towards. You say, okay, I have 1 Vassa or 2 Vassa, and that's just to know the amount of time that one's been a senior. That's interesting what you say, Ayya, about how in Thailand some people discriminate between 1 Vassa or 1 year of practice, because usually, I don't know, you could say more if this is the standard in Thailand, but usually what I've seen is that in monasteries, when you have monastics arranged by seniority, it's always by Vassa. So it's not by, let's say someone's been a monastic for 2.5 years, but another person has been a monastic for the same amount of time, but that's covered 3 Vassa seasons. That's the way, it's just a conventional way of measuring seniority. And usually this comes up when lining up for the meal or when sitting in seats. That way we don't have to think about what's the order every time, right? We go by seniority to have this very useful convention. So maybe you could say, is that the standard in the monasteries you're in? And what is the role of seniority? Why do we count Vassa? Why does it matter? I think is maybe part of this question as well.
Yeah. I think in the Rodaram, I don't know, but we count from the year that we ordain. On from the date that you like have the high ordination as a bhikkhuni, but not the Wasa.
Okay.
I don't know why. Yeah. So like we have like someone who like take care of us, like, okay, we're gonna arrange everything for you to go and to get the high ordination in Sri Lanka, right? So they have to do, like me as well, have to do, the best that we can to get them to have the high ordination before the Wasa. Otherwise, you're gonna wait for the whole year to count the Wasa. Yeah, this is interesting because I don't know, I haven't, thought about this before. I haven't talked to anyone about this before, but yeah, for me, here, we count the year. Or maybe some people, okay, now I ordain for 10 years, but I have 9 Vassa, something like that.
Okay, yeah. Interesting. And so maybe to jump off this question briefly, do you also have lots of temporary ordinations like samanedi or sikamana ordinations before the Vassa, and that these people train and stay in the monastery during the Vassa in Thailand? Is that part of the experience where you have people who aren't planning on staying long term, but they temporarily ordain before, or is that not part of how Nirodharam tends to do the Vassa?
In Nirodharam, they don't have Vassa for the seminary. Like when I was a seminary, right, and people ask me like, how many Vassa, and people say that you cannot say that you have 0 Vassa because you just seminary. Like, okay, now I have 0 Vassa, but I ordained like for like 3 years now. In Burma, when I went to Burma, they said, no, you have 3 Vassa. You can count, you are seminary, you can count, you have 3 Vassa. But I don't know, in Thailand, they say like, no, you have 0 Vassa for seminary. You have to start counting, when you bhikkhuni. So for the seminary, you can ordain anytime.
So there are different conventions according to different countries, and yes, good. All right. And Karuna asks, why is Vinaya taught to bhikkhunis by bhikkhus?
For Thailand, we don't have that much, like that many bhikkhuni who have like the senior bhikkhuni who can, learn all the Vinaya rule, something like that. And also one of the reason, because Vinaya, when you learn Vinaya, you have to know the Pali language. Otherwise, you're gonna study from the translation, from the Thai translation. But it's better for you to study, the Pali, the root of the word as well. And most of the bhikkhu in Thailand, they have like the high knowledge of Pali than us, the bhikkhuni. So yes, they taught us the Vinaya and also the Pali as well.
And we'll hope that eventually the Bhikkhuni Sangha can have more senior bhikkhunis to take on teaching Vinaya soon. Okay. And Pili asks, Ayya Khemavamsi, what is the name of the monastery you're staying at?
Mahavana or Big Forest. Mahavana, Big Forest. It's from the place near the Vesali. Vesali. It's in the Tipitaka. It's called Mahavana Tutanka. Tutanka is like the place to train yourself.
Okay,
Called the Big Forest.
good. So maybe I'll put in the chat like this, Mahavana.
Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay. And Karuna asks, what purpose do lay people have for taking the Dhamma exam? Is it personal interest or does the exam impact academic or professional significance?
Thank you, Karuna. I remember you. The purpose that for the lay people to take the exam is first for some people the personal interest you can do, but I don't know for how long. But this time they have this Dhamma study in the like in the school system. In Thailand, we have the class like the I don't know พุทธศาสนา called พุทธศาสนา class like Buddhism that the lay people teach, like the teacher teach. But now we have like you can ask the monk or the bhikkhuni as well to come and teach the พุทธศาสนา subject or the subject in the school, and to take the test you can take the Dhamma study test as well, and then you can refer to the grade or something like that. So yes, for personal interest and also for the academic as well.
Great. And so is there, if someone has has taken and passed the Dhamma exam as a layperson, is this something that they'll put on their resume for jobs and for secular career, or is this more of if someone ordains, maybe it's useful?
I'm not really sure about the lay people because when I was in high school, there's no Dhamma study for us to take for like now. But for some schools, they have like in the like I don't know, like academic like CV or something like that. And you can put that too. And I think like in Thailand they have a lot of Dhamma study, this Dhamma study as well, and also Abhidhamma. You can learn with the monk. Yeah. But for the academic, like professional significance, I don't think so because it's just like they have the level as well. Dhamma study for elementary school, Dhamma study for high school, and Dhamma study for university level or like the people in general. So they have a lot of like different and there are I think there's some temples that provide like the Abhidhamma and the Pali for lay people as well as for the monastics. They can learn together.
Great. Okay, and it looks like we have one more question as of now. Does any more come up? And Pili asks, any links or address? So I think Pili is asking to follow up, where can they find more information about Mahavana Monastery and Nirodharam? Where can they learn about if they want to visit or if they want to check out the website? Is there a website that they can go to?
Yeah, I just type the website. And Pili is Thai, right? So I can have the Thai name. It's the monastery in Lampang province. And also one thing that I would love to mention because it's new for me as well, and I think it's interesting because normally when Asanha Pusha, right, we have a lot of people coming to the monastery, and then the next day gonna be the Vasupanayika that we start the Wasa.
The entering of the Vassa season.
the entering of the Vassa. And like maybe like 3 days ago, I don't remember. For the bhikkhuni, we have to go to the bhikkhu to ask for the ovata every 15 days, as in the Karudama, right? And the bhikkhu said like, okay, when the entering the Vassa, do you have any like activity for the lay people? Like I said, like, no, I don't have that kind of thing. And he said like, oh, for the Thai forest monk, we have the activities to do the alms round, but not for food, but for flowers. So like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And he told me that when like normally we do the alms round in the morning, right? But for the day like yesterday, entering the Vassa, we do the alms round before the evening chanting, the evening puja. Some temples maybe start at 3 p.m. Some temples start at 5 p.m. And then they, carry the alms bowl, and then the lay people, give the flowers. They said that in, in like instead of the monastic or people in the monastery trying to find the flowers to like make the flower, I don't know what's it called, for the ceremony that we atithana vasa, right? The lay people can come and then give us the flowers, and then come and then listen to us when we atithan.
Okay, when you determine the Vassa period where you're staying.
Yes.
Okay.
So the people, they can know that, okay, this bhikkhuni stay in this monastery. This bhikkhuni, okay, maybe now they have 4 people all together, and I can see all their faces, something like that, and they know. And then they can come and learn about the vinaya, about the rules like sattaha karaniya. Like, okay, we have to stay in one residence, but you can go somewhere else, but not more than 7 days. In which case, and then we have to tell them this kind of thing as well. Like, if you want to invite the monastic to somewhere else, you can, but we have to come back not more than 7 days, something like that. So it's a good opportunity for the lay people to be able to, like give flowers, because Thai people love to give flowers, like especially the women love to give flowers. They can do the merit, and they can like experience the Vasupanayika, the practice that the monastic do when entering the Vassa. They can learn the Vinaya, and they can know our face, see our face, and then have like the relationship, the mutual relationship.
Great. So it's a good opportunity for the lay people to keep track of all the monastics and get to know them and see where they are.
Yes.
Okay. And maybe because you mentioned it, Ayya, you could say briefly, I think we hadn't talked about this in more detail. If you could mention the rule on the travel for 7 days. So maybe just a little bit more detail on how that works so that people are familiar.
The rule I have to find, I don't really remember. The first one, if your parents are sick or they injure something like that, then you can go, but no more than 7 days. The first one, when your parents are sick, right? The first one, if you go to, like, for example, your monastic friend would like to disrobe, and then you hear the news, and then you can go and then help them, stop them from disrobing or something like that. The third one, when you have like the thing to do related to the monastery, for example, if the ceiling of the vihara collapse, or you have to, like anything about the monastery that related to the monastery, then you can go for a certain period of time. And the number 4 is if like the lay people invite you to go and then to like give the chanting or something like that, or give the Dhamma talk to a specific person, like okay, they're like very sick and they want to hear the Dhamma, then you can go, but have to come back within the 7 days. And we can, it's not like that 7 days, like this is the first day, right? Like suppose like 1st of August. It doesn't mean like, okay, the first and then you go back within the 7th of August. It's not like that. You have to see the sunrise. It's up to the sunrise. If you go like in Thailand now, 5 a.m., it's, the sunrise, right? If you go before 5 a.m., that means you cannot count the first day on the 1st of August. You have to count like 31st of July. So you have to be back on the 6th of August, something like that. So we have to like, tell the information to the lay people. If they want to invite us, then you have to make sure that like drop us in time, before the sunrise, something like that. I think the signal is not that good, right? Ayya Wata. Ayya Wata. I think the signal is not that good. Can you hear me? Oh, but everyone can hear me, right? Because I think Ayya Wata just, like, okay. So you can hear me, right? And I'm gonna continue talking. So Pili, you're not Thai, oh, that's fine. You can search the mahavanatutangka.org. Oh, you can hear me, yes. And the next question, what is the daily activity of bhikkhuni in the monastery? For this monastery that I'm staying now, 4:30 a.m. we do the morning puja. 5 a.m. we do the meditation. And then we meditate until maybe like 45 minutes or 1 hour. And then 6 a.m. we do the arms round. We go for the arms round. We have like for 7 days we do the, for 6 days that we do the arms round. And then we're gonna do the arms round until maybe 7 a.m. or something like that. 7:30 we're gonna chant before the meal, and we give a Dhamma talk, like the brief one, in the morning. Every morning we have two bhikkhuni, so we swap, giving a Dhamma talk to the lay people that stay near the monastery, and also for the newly ordained samaneri as well. And after that, maybe 9 o'clock, because we eat just one meal here in Nirodharam, just one meal vegetarian. So we kind of eat like for a long time, for 1 hour. Oh, hi, you're back.
Yes.
Now, just, like give the answer to this one, daily activity of bhikkhuni. So about 9 o'clock that we finish eating, and then so this is different because when I stay in the empty cloud, I don't get, I'm not used to eating fast, because here just one meal, so we eat kind of slowly. And maybe 9 o'clock we finish, right? And after that we do the, clean the residence, clean the place, clean, like the monastery. And Now during the Vassa, we have the Dhamma study 11:30 to 12:30, and then Abhidhamma from 1 to 2:30, something like that. But for some people who don't study Abhidhamma, they can, like practice on their own, or they can study on their own, or they can, have someone to, like stay in case the lay people come. Mhm. And then we have like our own time to practice. And then around 4 p.m., then we have to do the water the plants. We have 15 right here, and we have to do on our own. So water the plants. It's very hot here. And at 7 p.m., the evening puja, 7:30 meditation, and then 8 p.m. we have the sutta study together. And then we finish like 8:30 in the evening. And then you can practice again. For some people, like one bhikkhuni, after sutta study, she will, like go and practice on her own in another sala. Something like that. So this is like the daily activity. If there is no lay people to come and practice with us. If the lay people come and have the retreat, we have more like the retreat session, like more practice, sitting meditation, walking meditation, and the bone contemplation. We have the bone contemplation, like the left bone, right bone,
Oh, okay.
Something.
So contemplating the skeleton.
Yes, skeleton. Like, I don't know in English, like left foot, right foot, or something like that in Thai.
Great.
Yeah, and more of the Dhamma talk if the lay people come. Practice and then Dhamma talk.
Great. Sadhu. Thank you, Ayya. And sorry, everyone, the internet cut out here for a little bit. Okay. So let's see. It looks like we don't have any more questions for now. So maybe Ayya, if there's any, do you have any closing statements or closing remarks you'd like to make to people about the monastery, Vassa, and anything to say?
Yes, before we leave, I would like to say that entering the Vassa is kind of big deal, maybe for me, especially for me. That is the certain period of time that we need to train more. Actually, you can train for the whole year. It's good to train, hard for the whole year. But, just think like, okay, I'm going to keep, when you have the determine, like, okay, I'm going to keep the 5% for the whole year. You think, oh, maybe it's too hard, right? But if you just like scope down and, okay, I'm going to do like for 3 months, it's going to be easier. And you can use this time for the monastic to train the mind, to cleanse the mind, because in a whole year you go somewhere else, you have to go to this place, that place, but only this period of time that you have to stay. And it's important not just to study, not just to train the mind, but when you stay in one place for 3 months with the same group of people, then you need to have the quality, because we don't like, if we like don't come too close, it's okay, right? But if you like have to stay within this like this kind of area, like every day, it needs it requires more of the good qualities, it requires more of the khanti, it requires more of the metta, the loving kindness and the compassion.
So living
Because
community.
within the community, because we cannot choose like, oh, this person, I don't like her, just get rid of her, something like that. We cannot do that, right? So it's important for us to study and to keep in mind about Saraniyathamma.
Yeah, warm-hearted, the qualities that keep a cordial and warm-hearted community, so we say.
Yes, that before we do anything, we have to do with the loving kindness. Before we give the speech, before we talk anything, we have to remind ourselves that you have to talk with the loving kindness. When you think of anything, you have to think with the loving kindness. And when you have lapa, when you someone give you something, they call sarana pokhi, right? You have to share to people.
Share with the others.
Yeah, share with people, and you need to have the same concept, the same tithi, right? The same
Same
tithi,
view, yeah.
the same view, right? That okay, why should I train ourselves? Why should we train ourselves? Why should we do this? Why should we work together? Why should we study? We have the right view, we have the same view, and you're gonna live with the community, live with the group with loving kindness and with ease, with peace. So this is something that we should bear in mind. And also one thing about the sila as well, you have to keep the precepts pure. So during this time, it's important not for the monastic but for the lay people, that you can use this kind of notion to the kind of same kind of concept to practice more. Maybe in the US you start the Wasa already, right? But you can start now, like for the lay people, like okay, now gonna try maybe 1 week to do this, and then extend the length, right? Okay, and now I can do 1 week. I can do like 1 month. 1 month, okay, now 2 months, and it's good because you should learn to do good things step by step, right? Not just like, okay, I want to go to the Nibbana, but when you try to struggle and oh, maybe it's a long way to go. I think I'm gonna go party with my friends. Then this time it's not like that. But if you keep like the small step, like do the small step at a time, you have the goal. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna reach the Nibbana one day, but just small step at a time. It's better to have like the like the I don't know in English. Then you can like small accomplishment. Oh, I can do this. I can do this for 1 month. Like when I first ordained, I think like okay, I think I should pass 7 days because I never live in the monastery more than 7 days in my whole life. And then I just decide to ordain. But at that time I was very sick, so I thought I'm gonna die in this robe, right? But maybe if you don't die, just maybe more than 7 days, maybe 15 days, and then 15 days. Oh, 15 days, I still survive. Maybe 1 month. Oh, 1 month still survive. Maybe 3 months, and then the last milestone for me is 6 months. If I pass 6 months, then okay, that's it for me. So small step at a time and small accomplishment. And yes, and one more thing, bear in mind about the qualities when you live with the community, with the small group of people. Whatever you do, you talk or you think, do with the loving kindness. Have the same level of precept. Because if you keep precept, it's not going to work, right? Maybe you have to fight about drinking, or partying or something like that. But if you have like 5 precepts just the same, it's better. For like 10 precepts, to stay with 10 precepts, it's better, right? Maybe 10 precepts and 5 precepts is not gonna go smoothly. So with the person with the same precept and the same view, same right view. And whatever you have, just share. So I think that's it for me. Do you have anything to, add more on this topic, entering the Vassa?
Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much, Ayya. It's great advice on living the community. That's something that we hadn't touched much on, that I really appreciate. On the Vassa is when everyone is living together in one place for 3 months. There's the individual practice and the determinations, but there's also the community life, and how do we live in community? How do we apply these qualities? So it's very beautiful, the qualities you're sharing from the suttas on always keeping in mind the teachings of the Buddha, and having metta for our spiritual companions as we live together, and sharing a view, and sharing our precepts, and then having lay people take those same aspirations to really establish certain qualities, practices, and precepts, and grow in those qualities gradually over time. It's very beautiful, great advice. Before we go, Karuna just briefly asked what the word you used to mean community harmony.
I'm trying to find the website for the sutra. It's Sutta Central, right? It's Saraniya Dhamma. I'm gonna add the link for you. What occupied my no? No, not this one. It's called Saraniya Dhamma. Hang on, I'm gonna this one for you. No. Why I cannot find this one? I just found the website, but from the Access to Insights, called Saraniya Sutta, conducive to amiability. Gonna add for you. And you can learn from this sutra. I think it's the one.
Perfect. Okay.
Yes.
Great. All right. Thank you so much, Ayya. We'll close by saying 3 sadhus to show appreciation to Ayya Khemavamsi for all the beautiful dhamma she shared. Sadhu, 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 anumodami. Okay. And I hope that you have amazing Vassa in Thailand, and make lots of progress on your Dhamma path and practice, Ayya. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in.